Lila and Eve, two peas in a pod, inseparable since childhood. They shared secrets, dreams, clothes. Lila, the fiery redhead, always chased attention. Eve, with her quiet grace, preferred to observe. They balanced each other perfectly. Lila craved excitement, chased after boys, lived for the moment. Eve, cautious and kind, sought stability, a love that ran deep. They were different sides of the same coin, but beneath the surface, a darkness brewed. Eve met Daniel first. It was a chance encounter at a mutual friend's party, a moment that seemed insignificant at the time but would change everything. They exchanged pleasantries, their smiles genuine and warm, unaware of the future that awaited them. Daniel was charming, successful, everything Lila thought she wanted in a partner. He had an air of confidence that drew people in, a magnetic presence that was hard to ignore. His success was evident in the way he carried himself, the way he spoke with authority and ease. Yet, despite all his outward charm, it was Eve's quiet warmth and genuine heart that captivated him. She had a way of making people feel seen and heard, a sincerity that was rare and precious. Daniel found himself drawn to her in a way he hadn't expected. Lila plastered a smile on her face whenever she saw them together, but inside a seed of envy took root. She watched as Eve blossomed with Daniel by her side, their love seemingly perfect. Eve's career soared, her successes celebrated by everyone around her. Meanwhile, Lila felt stuck in a dead-end job, her own dreams slipping further away with each passing day. She watched with a growing bitterness as others, especially Eve, seemed to achieve everything she had ever wanted. The disparity between their lives was a constant reminder of her own perceived failures. Lila told herself she was happy for Eve, that she should be grateful for her friend's success. But the words rang hollow in her own ears. She struggled to reconcile her feelings, the envy gnawing at her insides despite her best efforts to suppress it. Eve's happiness felt like a spotlight, highlighting Lila's own perceived inadequacies. Every smile, every achievement of Eve's seemed to cast a shadow over Lila's life, making her feel smaller and more insignificant with each passing day. Every smile, every achievement twisted the knife of jealousy deeper. Lila's envy grew, a dark cloud that overshadowed her thoughts and feelings. She felt left out, watching from the sidelines as others celebrated their successes. The seed of envy had taken root, and it was growing stronger with each passing day. The news came like a punch to the gut. Daniel had proposed. Lila's heart sank as she read the message over and over, hoping that it would change. But it didn't. The words remained the same, and the reality of it all began to sink in. Her best friend Eve was now engaged to the man Lila had secretly loved for years. Eve, radiant, showed Lila the ring, a sparkling diamond that reflected the tears welling up in Lila's eyes. It was a beautiful ring, one that Lila had often dreamed of wearing herself. She forced a smile, trying to hide the turmoil inside her. "It's gorgeous," she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm so happy," Eve gushed, oblivious to the storm brewing within her friend. She went on and on about how perfect Daniel was, how he had planned the most romantic proposal, and how she couldn't wait to spend the rest of her life with him. Lila nodded along, each word feeling like a dagger to her heart. That night, Lila didn't sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with thoughts of what could have been. She replayed every moment she had spent with Daniel, every laugh, every shared secret, every touch. How had she missed the signs? How had she not seen this coming? Jealousy, a venomous snake, coiled in her gut. It twisted and turned, making her feel sick to her stomach. She clutched her pillow, trying to find some comfort, but there was none to be found. The jealousy was all-consuming, leaving no room for anything else. It whispered insidious doubts, fueled resentment. Why her and not me? Lila found herself asking. What does she have that I don't? The questions were endless, each one more painful than the last. She tried to push them away, but they kept coming back, stronger and more persistent. Eve didn't deserve this happiness, not when Lila had so little. It wasn't fair. Lila had always been the one to support Eve, to be there for her through thick and thin, and now, when it was Lila's turn to be happy, Eve had taken it all away. The thought made Lila's blood boil. The thought, terrifying in its intensity, took root in her mind. It grew and grew until it was all she could think about. She couldn't escape it no matter how hard she tried. It was like a dark cloud hanging over her, suffocating her. Lila's life felt like a series of near misses while Eve effortlessly glided towards happiness. Every opportunity, every chance at happiness seemed to slip through Lila's fingers. She watched as Eve's life unfolded perfectly while hers remained stagnant. The contrast was unbearable, her leaving behind a raw, desperate ache. It was a pain unlike any other, a deep, gnawing ache that wouldn't go away. Lila knew she had to do something, but what? The answer eluded her, leaving her feeling more lost and alone than ever before. The plan unfolded in the dead of night, under the cloak of darkness. The streets were silent, the only sound being the distant hum of a city that never truly sleeps. Shadows danced under the pale moonlight, casting eerie shapes on the ground. Fueled by twisted logic, Lila's mind was a storm of conflicting thoughts. She stared at her reflection, searching for a trace of the person she once was. A simple act, she told herself, just a small step to reclaim what she believed was rightfully hers. A dash of something deadly in Eve's evening tea. Lila imagined it dissolving seamlessly, leaving no trace. The poison was a representation of her own bitterness, a tangible form of the resentment festering inside her. The poison, a symbol of her inner turmoil, was now a part of Eve's life. Lila's face twisted into a bitter expression as she thought about Eve's happiness. It was time for that happiness to dissolve, just as the poison did in the tea. Days later, news spread like wildfire through the small town. Whispers and rumors filled the air. The newspaper headlines screamed about a mysterious illness, and the townspeople could talk of little else. Eve was in the hospital, the doctors baffled by her sudden decline. They ran test after test, each one coming back inconclusive. The medical equipment beeped and whirred, a constant reminder of the battle being fought within Eve's body. Lila played the part of the concerned friend flawlessly. She sat by Eve's bedside, holding her hand and offering words of comfort. To the outside world, she was the epitome of compassion, but inside her heart was a cold, hard stone. Guilt lingered at the edges of Lila's triumph. She had achieved what she set out to do, but the victory felt hollow. The satisfaction she had anticipated was tainted by an unexpected sense of remorse. She had wanted Eve's happiness gone, but not like this. The thought of Eve, her friend, suffering brought a new wave of nausea. It was a feeling distinct from the satisfaction of her revenge, a gnawing discomfort that she couldn't shake. The poison, she realized with chilling clarity, had begun to consume her as well. It was no longer just a substance in Eve's body. It was a metaphor for the darkness that had taken root in her own soul.